morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to Global Atheist News Roundup. This is the show which gives you the lowdown on how religions have impacted humanity over the last 7 days. This week's headlines. Pakistani cleric who advocated blasphemy deaths is now hunted for insults himself. Iranian cleric claims that Jews use genies for secret missions. The female principal of a school in Lebanon bravely stood against Hezbollah terrorists who were trying to hide in her school full of children. Kenya's oldest university gets a mosque after 50 years of pushing. A 15-year-old boy from Iraq was tried by the IS court for the crime of listening to music during prayers. He was beheaded in front of a cheerful crowd. A Florida Republican says that his opponent's humanism should disqualify her from office. A London school is to launch a challenge over the VAT increase. Germany is to deny citizenship to pro-Palestinian social media users. An MP is to table an amendment to abolish bishops from the House of Lords. And Trump is the closest thing to God. Here is the news in detail. In a stunning turn of events, Pakistani cleric Mufti Tariq Masood, once a vocal advocate for immediately executing those accused of blasphemy, now finds himself on the run, facing the very accusations he used to condemn others for. See this video.
In a stunning turn of events, Pakistani cleric Mufti Tariq Masood, once a vocal advocate for immediately executing those accused of blasphemy, now finds himself on the run, facing the very accusations he used to condemn others for. Masood sparked outrage across Pakistan with his controversial statements about the Prophet Muhammad in the Quran, claiming that the Prophet was illiterate and relied on scribes to document the holy book. In a particularly inflammatory remark, Masood stated, quote, "If the person, Prophet Muhammad, who is presenting the Quran did not write even a single word of it, and it got written by others," further alleging that this led to grammatical errors in the Quran that remain to this day. The irony of Masood's situation is palpable, given his previous stance that even if someone had apologized, we cannot say whether it is from the heart or just to show, so he should be punished according to the blasphemy laws. Basically saying that even if someone commits blasphemy and even if they repent, we should still execute them because we don't know if they're just doing it for show. As Masood attempts to backpedal, claiming that his words were taken out of context, his case highlights the volatile nature of blasphemy accusations in Pakistan and the potential dangers of the very laws he once championed.
In a bizarre twist following Israel's successful operations against Hamas and Hezbollah leaders, including Hassan Nasrallah, an Iranian cleric has made outlandish claims about Israel's supposed use of supernatural forces. See this video.
Iranian cleric claims Jews use genies for secret missions. In a bizarre twist following Israel's successful operation against Hezbollah leaders, including Hassan Nasrallah, an Iranian cleric has made outlandish claims about Israel's supposed use of supernatural forces. Mustafa Karami, in a televised interview, accused Jews in Israel of employing jinn, or spirits from Islamic belief, for covert missions. I just had a mental image of like a secret agent jinn. Asserting that, quote, considering the Zionists' history of subjugating genies, they carry out many of their missions through these means, and demons are their secret army. This fantastical claim comes in the wake of Israel's Operation New Order, which resulted in the death of Nasrallah and other high-ranking Hezbollah members on September 27th. While various reports suggest different methods of tracking Nasrallah, from high-tech gadgets to traditional intelligence work, Karami's supernatural explanation stands out for its sheer absurdity. The cleric's statements, which also include accusations of Jews using cosmic science and magic throughout history, highlight the extreme narratives being pushed in some quarters to explain Israel's military successes and underscore the complex web of misinformation and superstition that can surround geopolitical events in the region.
The female principal of a school in Lebanon bravely stood against Hezbollah terrorists who were trying to hide in her school full of children. See this video.
إذا واحد بده يطلع خلي ممنوعة
After a half-century, students, lecturers, and the Muslim community at the University of Nairobi will soon have a small mosque on the institution's main campus. The 54-year-old university is Kenya's oldest and is the top ranking in East Africa, but the push for establishing the mosque is as old as the institution itself. Muslims within the university say the clamour for the mosque started around 1972, 2 years after the then college became an independent university. Politics, differences between Sunni and Shia Muslim groups, and the university administration's concern over ownership all kept administrators from approving the mosque in the past, but that changed last year, after many letters and discussions, when the administration allowed the construction of a temporary mosque on an empty car park on the campus. We are in the process of erecting the mosque with the support from the students and the Muslim community. The structure should be up before December, Sheikh Mohammed Abdallah, the Muslim chaplain at the university, told Religion News Service in an interview. It means a lot. This will give tranquility and calmness needed when communicating with their creator for those who go there. According to the chaplain, the number of Muslim students at the university has been growing, and the new mosque will help serve that community. Ayam Hussein, a 15-year-old boy from Iraq, was tried by the Islamic State court for the crime of listening to music during prayer time. He was beheaded in front of a cheerful crowd. Sarah Henry is a Florida Democrat who is running to defeat an incumbent Republican for a seat in the State House, and it's a rematch from 2 years ago. In 2022, as a first-time candidate, Sarah came within a couple of percentage points of winning. Now she's trying again. She was politically conscious as a teenager and knew she wanted to help create a better world. So when she graduated from college, she worked in the non-profit field, even serving for a time as a communications associate for the American Humanist Association. Her comments on Fox, where she argued on behalf of the AHA that a giant Christian cross honouring veterans would be fine on private property, but it didn't legally belong on public property. A school in Derby, England, is launching a court challenge against the government's imposition of value-added tax, VAT, on fees. Emmanuel School and other faith schools claim the tax would unlawfully discriminate against them, as it could force Christian schools to close. The changes are set to come into force in January. Head teacher Ben Snowden said, "The families that we have at Emmanuel are not wealthy. They are choosing to send their children here, and they are making sacrifices because of that. For some of them, an additional 20% on top of what they are currently paying would be too much. They wouldn't be able to manage that, and then they would have to make decisions about what they were going to do about their children's education." The action is backed by the Christian Legal Centre and also involves the Branch Christian School in Yorkshire and the King's School in Hampshire. Ministers said they did not expect raising VAT would cause private school fees to go up by 20%, as they did not have to reflect the total increase in what they charged. Previously, a spokesperson for His Majesty's Treasury said, "Ending tax breaks on private schools will help to raise the revenue needed to fund our education priorities for next year, such as recruiting 6,500 new teachers." In a controversial move, Germany has announced significant changes to its citizenship laws, including denying citizenship to individuals who express pro-Palestinian sentiments on social media. This decision is part of broader reforms aimed at making citizenship more accessible to foreign residents, reducing the required residency period from 8 to 5 years. However, the new policy has also tightened restrictions based on Germany's historical responsibility for the Holocaust. The changes specifically target users who like, comment, or post the slogan "From the river to the sea," which is seen as challenging Israel's right to exist. See this video.
In a controversial move, Germany has announced a significant changes to its citizenship laws, including denying citizenship to individuals who express certain pro-Palestinian statements on social media. This decision is part of broader reforms at making citizenship more accessible to foreign residents, reducing the required residency period from 8 to 5 years. However, the new policy has also tightened restrictions based on Germany's historical responsibility to the Holocaust. The changes specifically target users who like, comment, or post the slogan "From the river to the sea," which is seen as challenging Israel's right to exist. This policy stems from a clause of Germany's citizenship laws, which concerns, quote, Germany's special historical responsibility for the nationalist, socialist injustice and its consequences, especially for the protection of Jewish life. The Federal Ministry of the Interior emphasized that context matters, particularly when pro-Palestinian slogans coincide with calls for violence against Israel. To reinforce this stance, Germany has also introduced Holocaust-related questions in citizenship tests. Germany's Interior Minister, Nancy Faeser, emphasized the country's position, stating, quote, "If you don't share our values, you can't get a German passport. We have a crystal clear red line here." This decision has sparked intense debate around social media and free expression and the balance between honoring historical responsibilities and the current political tensions and the role of social media in citizenship eligibility.
An MP will seek to table an amendment to the government's Hereditary Peers Bill, which would abolish the bishop's bench. Conservative MP Gavin Williamson announced his intention to bring the amendment in a debate on the bill today. 26 Church of England bishops sit by right in the House of Lords. The National Secular Society is working with Williamson to garner support for the amendment among MPs. The NSS told MPs the bishop's bench is at least as archaic, elitist, unfair and indefensible as the seats given to the hereditary peers. Speaking in the Commons, Williamson said, "Clergy automatically sitting as right is fundamentally wrong and frankly ridiculous." Describing the bishop's bench as an injustice, he said it was time to lance the boil. Only removing hereditary peers will not eradicate this injustice, he said. Williamson noted that less than 2% of the British population attend Anglican services on Sundays, and said the 26 bishops are not reflective of the whole United Kingdom, pointing out that no Welsh, Scottish or Northern Irish bishops are on the bench. Williamson said, "More can be done beyond removing hereditary peers to make the Lords a fairer and more reflective chamber." Williamson said he will seek to table the amendment when the bill reaches its next legislative stage. If it is selected by the Speaker, it will be debated and voted on.
There is a big opportunity here. There is an unfairness. There is an injustice. There's so many people of so many faiths and so many people of no faith at all. See the fact that there are 26 bishops. These are not reflective of the United Kingdom and are not reflective of what this country looks like today. That they are still there. So I will, if a government is not willing to table an amendment, I will table an amendment to remove those 26 bishops from this House. And I hope, as I give way to the honourable gentleman, as to whether he will support me in that mission to make the upper house a fairer and more reflective chamber.
Earlier this year, the NSS, National Secular Society, wrote to the government urging it to include the removal of the bishop's bench in its programme of House of Lords reform. Also speaking in the debate, SNP MP Peter Wishart said colleagues were right to point out the ridiculousness of the bishop's bench. He noted that Iran is the only other legislature with reserved seats for clerics. Conservative MP Ashley Fox said votes by right for bishops is indefensible. Green MP Ellie Chowns challenged the government to take forward the principles of fairness and equality by also abolishing the bishop's bench. Finally, Trump is the closest thing to God. See this video.
Trump is the closest thing to God.
Trump is the closest thing to God, really?
Absolutely, absolutely. He's what's going to fix this nation. This nation's corrupt. We're all split. America used to be all together.
Yeah.
Now we're all split up. Why? We need to come back together. The only person who's going to mold us is God first and then Trump.
God, then Trump.
God, then Trump, absolutely. But if God's not there, Trump's not going to come out. I'll say that. Kamala comes out, Satan's out, and you better be scared.
So you believe that Trump is picked by God?
I believe so. I believe that Trump is blessed by God. I believe that Trump has come from blessed parents. His parents worked for what they had. His parents made him, molded him to become the person that he is.
But so Trump is selling Bibles for $60.
Okay.
Is that he's profiting off of selling Bibles? Is that a godly thing to do?
Is it a godly thing for the Democrats to be okay with killing their babies? Is that okay?
I guess you
They
just
push that.
you answered my question with another question.
Okay.
Just answer this question. Is it a godly thing to do for Trump to be?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a business. He's a businessman. That's what this country needs. What do we need?
And if the business is selling the Bible, that's okay?
That's perfectly fine. What are churches doing? When you go to church, don't they ask you for $1? Don't they ask you to do this and that? Churches are businesses. This whole country's a business.
Following this news on Free Thought Productions channel is Free Thought Hour, and our guest this week is Bill White. He has a very interesting story to tell. You can join Tercia and I chatting with him by text. This has been Global Atheist News. Please like, subscribe and share. Thank you for watching.